Hello, awakened beings. Welcome to this channel. Here I do tarot and oracle readings to support you along your spiritual journey. If that interests you, feel free to check out any other content on this channel as well as interact with this video if you feel called to. Today's reading is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What you can expect over the next 30 days. Let's go. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, I did hear like a ba-da-ba-ba-ba, like the McDonald's thing, so I don't know if somebody here likes McDonald's, has worked at McDonald's, lives by a McDonald's, or maybe is even into like jazz and like scatting and something like that, okay? So that's not going to resonate with everyone. All right, so at the back of the deck, we do have 7 of Swords here, okay? So we also have Knight of Swords underneath that and Queen of Cups. Okay, so there's some sort of conversation or reveal that's happening within the next 30 days for you. With Knight of Swords, I do feel like this is the Aquarius going over to a Queen of Cups here. But, you know, take it how it resonates. But anyways, with Knight of Swords, there is communication, and it feels like a long conversation. You might be talking to this person for at least an hour, but there's something that needs to be revealed, something that needs to be said, and I do feel like it is something that can allow the relationship to flourish or allow for some sort of healing, because if you look at this sword here, there's flowers sprouting out this way, especially with this very bright pink one. That catches my attention. I do feel like, you know, this sword is parting here, so it just kind of feels like it's clearing the way for growth, or parting the way for, it's almost like paving a way more so, right? Like this conversation is very significant to kind of clear the air, get in touch with feelings, get in touch with thoughts, and kind of be on the same page. And so it's very revealing, essentially. Okay, so I see that within the next 30 days. Okay, we got Wheel of Fortune. All right, I like it. I do feel like with Wheel of Fortune, this is like, you know, a card of blessings, positive outcomes, and things like that. But the thing about the Wheel of Fortune is that it's on a wheel, so things are going to go up and down. And so I do feel like, you know, maybe this conversation upcoming has to deal with addressing, you know, a rough patch, and then being able to move forward through that into a more positive outcome. So I do feel like, and I did say that with the 7 of Swords, that like this was kind of paving some sort of way. So I mean, essentially, metaphorically, it's similar, where like when the wheel starts turning, you get to move forward, right? So yeah, I just feel like maybe there's some sort of rough patch in the past, that this conversation just really helps to kind of dive deep. It doesn't feel surface level at all, okay? Clarify Wheel of Fortune. We got leadership, okay? So for some of you, this is like an important business meeting, important, you know, something where there's a decision made. So for those of you, this is regarding work. No matter what your title is, maybe your company or organization is having like, you know, financial losses or trouble with connections or something like that. And, you know, maybe there's even a shift in management or something. But I do feel like there's some sort of conversation regarding some sort of change or pathway to be able to make things better. Okay, so again, take it how it resonates. It could have to do with your work, could have to do with your personal life, relationships, whatever it is. There's some sort of conversation about, you know, forward movement and change, that's very significant. And again, I do feel like this is a really in-depth conversation. Okay. I do feel like some people, or I don't know how many people are involved in this conversation, but somebody's not very happy. Can we get one of these cards here? Clarify Wheel of Fortune. And pass. See? somebody's not very happy. Like, it kind of seems like they take a little bit more convincing or more information or something like that for them to be able to be like, okay, like for them to accept it. So there's somebody who's struggling to accept some sort of truth, message, communication, whatever. They're not fully on board with it. Okay, so if you are the one who is this new leader coming in, or the one having to make a decision or communicate something, I do feel like it's going to be important for you to choose your words or how you choose to deliver it. Make sure you're being considerate and listening to what their block actually is. So like when you're talking to a person, some people don't outright say what they're thinking or what's on their mind. You have to kind of read in between the lines sometimes. And so like, oh, there's this saying where it's like every behavior is saying something. I don't think I'm saying it right, but basically the point is, if somebody, throws their head back and rolls their eyes, okay, that behavior is communicating something that is, possibly frustrating to them. So you got to read into that and really dig into why did they do that? You know what I mean? So that's just some advice if, you're the one facilitating this or whatever. Yeah, it does seem like there's going to be a little bit of block on this. But you do have Wheel of Fortune, just to reiterate. So I do feel like, the situation will turn out as best as it can. Okay. All right. Now you have Seven of Wands here. Let's see what's going on with that. I do feel like, okay, for whoever storyline this is, if you're in management or trying to lead a conversation or something like that, I do feel like you are going to have to stand your ground. I do feel like even without that storyline, whatever your situation is with the Seven of Wands, this lets me know that you're going to have to like defend your position or defend what you're saying. But I wouldn't. I'm trying to think if there's another word besides defend that would fit, because I don't feel like being combative is the right play here. I guess, stand your ground, but give them some advice on the Seven of Wands, please. Somebody's not being upfront because it's taken a long time for this to come out here. Give them some advice on the Seven of Wands here. Success. Take your time. Success, they're saying Rome wasn't built in a day. Take your time. If you look at this little plant, it has what it needs. So basically anything can grow in the right environment. Okay. And so I guess there's just this message here of like allowing things to grow, but paying attention to the environment. Okay. So, if somebody's sick, they need to be in an environment that's going to be, conducive to healing, right? Not surrounded in things that are going to continue to make them sick. So I don't know, Spirit's really pointing that out to me of like this little growth here, but like it needs to be in an environment that's going to be conducive for growth and success. So I don't know, that's what Spirit wanted me to say. So I guess like with the Seven of Wands, if you're feeling like you need to fight or be combative or anything, think about whether that's good for your health or not, okay? Because you know best. But yeah. Let's see. Give me one more card on that, please. Seven of Wands. I do also feel like, okay, Spirit is also saying not to give up too easily because, and that's where that stand your ground is coming from. Okay, so Spirit is saying not to give up too easily because growth yeah, like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. And so growth is going to come more, it might not come as quickly as you think. And so, yeah, with the Seven of Wands, just kind of, like I said, stand your ground and allow yourself to grow at the pace that you do, or the situation to unfold naturally in the way that it does. So, yeah, like I said earlier, I don't feel like being combative or forceful is the way to go with this. It's not going to be helpful. Okay. All right, so there it is. Let's go with this last card here. Page of Pentacles. All right. Let's get a card on that. What are you saying, Page of Pentacles? I do feel like, so, okay, for some of you, I'm getting that you're going to be in a new situation. You could be around new people. You could be in a new job or just in a new title, something like that. Take it how it resonates. But I am starting to get that because just what we just talked about here with success, but also now we have Page of Pentacles, which is somebody who's like really getting their footing. So I just see like this progression here of like Wheel of Fortune, getting an opportunity, standing your ground, sticking with it, and then now you feeling like pretty solid, or like you got a good idea of, what's going on. So yeah, I just see like this natural progression of you like getting on your feet, I guess. Or a situation, becoming more prosperous. Okay, clarify Page of Pentacles. Banish a curse. Okay, clarify Page of Pentacles. Grief. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. Okay. So it's as I said, like with this Page of Pentacles, this is showing me that you're getting on your feet. You're getting grounded. You've got, a solid understanding of what's going on now, what's happening next. So, yeah. I mean, that's pretty... yeah, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything before I give you your last card. With the grief card showing up, I do feel like you could be looking back at this initial situation that we started with here. You could also have some reservations about, the process. And I did mention something about like the working environment or the environment, whether you're living there or something like that. But with this Banish a Curse card, I do feel like you're going to have or make some sort of decision with this Page of Pentacles regarding your environment and whether it's conducive to, what you are focused on and what you feel like is best for you. I do feel like there's some learning here, like initially with the Seven of Swords, truth being revealed, in-depth conversation, change, all this stuff, that this Page of Pentacles is, it's almost like he's noticed something within his own self. And so by the time, like as you're ending your 30 days or, towards the end, it just kind of seems like you feel more enlightened or like light. Because like even with this grief card, like once you grieve something or, experience loss or change and process emotions, once you do all that stuff, like you feel a lot lighter because it's not weighing on you. So you have two cards that's letting me know that there's something you're releasing at this time that allows you to be a little bit more sturdy, stable, focus, and have more of a footing, not so dense though. And if you look at this guy, he's actually in a boat, so it kind of makes me think about like the Three Little Pigs, where there's like the house made of straw, brick, sticks. With this being Pentacles, it's like he's built, a stable boat for him to be able to travel the distance or that he needs to, So, yeah, take that how it resonates. I'm going to go ahead and give you your last card here. I do feel like, too, he's letting me know that within the 30 days or by the end, you're feeling emotionally balanced. So, like, this is a pentacle card, but he's on top of water. So I do feel like you're feeling connected emotionally, but not out of balance. You know, I don't know. It just kind of feels like smooth sailing. Okay. I do also feel like maybe there's like additional money or new money or something here. Okay. That could even come in the form of like, because I'm looking at this banish a curse. So it could be, you know, if you walked away from a person or situation or something like that, then that particular thing could have been something you invested some of your time and money into or your resources into, and now you no longer have to worry about it. Something like that. Anything else? We did have Queen of Cups. Okay, so that second's what I'm getting about the emotions. All right. It could be that, yeah, you're connecting more with the person too as well, because we did have this impasse where there was a block in communicating. And so I do feel like you're able to get through that, leaning into more Queen of Cups energy and processing your emotions. So, like, I feel like there's a good amount of water on the board to where you're not overtaken by emotions and you're still able to, like, rationalize, make decisions, and really, like, be intentional. Okay, last card. Wow. This says direction. Okay. Lord, please show me the right action right now. Please bring a sign and a miracle that gives clear direction. May I hear the promptings of my own body, and if for some reason I am about to head the wrong way, please stop me. Okay. I will say this. I do feel like for somebody tuning in, you could have a block within yourself where, you know, you might be a little avoidant. But I do feel like, so with the avoidance that's coming up with this impasse, it could be that, you know, you're approaching a particular person or situation and feel like, you know, a little anxious about that or whatever. But I see that sometimes we get feeling trauma response. Thank you. Trauma response where like we think a situation is threatening, but it's not actually. Okay, so it's important for me to say that because I'm tuning into this grief and impasse where it's like you could have your reservations about, you know, the impasse came out under the Wheel of Fortune, right? So I feel like you could have had like some sort of reservations about something, you know, about an opportunity or a conversation, something moving forward. But it seems like that's just kind of like trauma response where maybe like, okay, you could be saying, well, this isn't a good thing because in the past it didn't work out, or in the past, blah, 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 or I'm used to. But I do feel like, you know, with this grief card, if you're able to like discern trauma response versus like actually calming down and thinking or feeling in your body what actually is triggering you and what where are you actually being led to. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So like our brain or our bodies can panic in situations that it doesn't actually need to panic in, but once we kind of like, you know, take a deep breath, center ourselves, Page of Pentacles, then we're able to actually discern that and be like, oh no, this situation actually isn't harmful. You know, I'm activated by something from the past. So let me tune into this particular moment so that I know what's actually coming up for me. How do I actually feel about this particular moment? Okay, I hope that makes sense. If not, then, you know, just tune into the card because You know, that's what I was getting off of that. Okay. All right. So Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. That was your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good luck on your journey.